Hey, last Thursday was Thanksgiving and you won't believe how much food my mom cooked. I'll tell you more about it at the end. I'm Teacher Tiffani. Let's jump right in. All right, today we're going to be looking at this formula, IOT. Now, this formula is going to help you be more fluent when you speak in English using this simple formula. So let's see what these letters actually stand for, okay? The letter I is step 1, identify. The letter O is step 2, organize. And the letter T is step 3, talk. Now, what I'm going to do is show you an image, and we're going to use this image and apply the formula to it to show you how to speak fluently in English. Here we go. All right, so our image is this one. It looks like there's a young lady walking up some stairs. So we first need to identify. This is the sentence. The lady is wearing sunglasses. Now again, remember we need to identify what's the point, what's the focus of this sentence, okay? So we can see right here, the focus is the lady. So we identified the focus. Now we need to move on to the next step, the O, organize. So we're going to use the 5 W's. Now remember, we've talked about the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. When you answer these questions, you will sound more fluent in English. So let's answer these questions about this lady in the picture, okay? So for who, I can say, she looks like a fashion designer, possibly a European woman, and she also looks very confident. Now remember, I'm just giving my opinion, and you will do the same thing when you are practicing at home. Pick an image, and you can guess who the person is and what they are doing, okay? All right, so let's move on to what. Let's say she is going up the stairs, looking around, and thinking deeply. Now for the when. I'd say it's around 1 p.m., after lunch, and before her meeting. Now again, you see that I'm just giving my opinion. I'm just guessing. It looks pretty sunny outside, so it's not early in the morning. So maybe it's 1 p.m. Maybe it's after lunch. Again, I'm giving my opinion or my idea, and you want to do the same thing, okay? All right, moving on to the where. In New York, in the stairwell, in the old building. And finally, for why, I said, going back to work, heard her friend, and has a meeting. Okay, so I've given all of its information, 3 details for each of the 5 W's. Remember, that's always very important to give 3 details. I've organized my idea. I've organized my thoughts about this individual in the picture. Now we have to move on to step number 3, talk. So how are we going to talk using these different details? Let's see. All right, so moving on to step number 3. Now you see at the bottom we have the information from step number 2. So here's the first sentence. It's about 1 p.m. and a European woman wearing sunglasses is going up the stairs in a stairwell. Well, you can see that in my first sentence, I actually have 4 pieces of information, 4 details from step number 2. I said again, it's about 1 p.m. Let me show you. I said it's 1 p.m. I mentioned that she's a European woman. That's for the who. I mentioned that she's going up the stairs, which is what. And I mentioned that she's in the stairwell, which answers the where. So again, this is just the first sentence of my speech or what I'm saying about this image. But I've already given so much information, and you can too. So let's move on to the next sentence. Here we go. Here's the next sentence. From what I can tell, she is in an old building in New York. Now for this one, we see 2 pieces of information that answer the where. I said in New York, and I also said an old building. But there's something unique about this sentence. Look once again. You see the yellow part? From what I can tell. Now, this is a pattern in English that we use often. So I want to explain it to you because I want you to sound like a native English speaker. So going back to my screen, from what I can tell. Now, this is used to indicate that what you are saying is based on the information you have, but that there may be things you do not know. Remember, I said that I was giving you my opinion. Looking at the picture, this is what I guessed. Maybe she's in New York. Maybe it's 1 p.m. Maybe it's an old building. Again, from what I can see, based on the information I was given, this is my opinion. So in English, in that situation, we say, from what I can tell. All right? So let's look at some examples using this pattern. Here we go. First, from what I can tell, the weather is great today. Again, looking at that image, it looks blue. The sky looks blue. It looks like there are a few clouds, but I can also see the sun. So from what I can tell, from the information that I was given, the weather is great today. All right? Here's the next example. From what I can tell, they are friends. Next, from what I can tell, she is extremely busy. Look at her. She's walking. She has her phone, and she's walking while she's looking at her phone. So from what I can tell, wow, she's extremely busy. Okay? And the final example. From what I can tell, they are students. Again, we can see that they have a book bag on. The girl is holding her book really tightly, so they look like students. So again, I want you to practice this pattern. From what I can tell. Now remember, you can always download the free PDF that goes along with this lesson. In the description, you'll see the link for the free PDF, so don't worry. Everything we're learning, you can get it for free to review for later, okay? All right, so let's continue now. So we have from what I can tell. Now we're moving on to the next sentence. Just by looking at her clothes, I can assume that she is a fashion designer and also a confident woman. Now again, we have two pieces of information that answer the who. I said she's a fashion designer and also a confident woman. So I included these pieces of information in this sentence, okay? So we also see some more yellow, okay? So let's go back and check that out. Just by looking at, and I can assume that. Now, this is also a very important pattern in English. Here we go. This pattern is used to show that you are making an assumption or guess based on what you are currently looking at. So again, just looking at the picture, I think she's possibly a fashion designer. Why? Because in my opinion, oh wow, she's wearing a nice coat. She has very fashionable sunglasses on, and her body language kind of shows me that she's probably a fashion designer. Again, just by looking at her, okay? All right, so let's see some examples using this pattern as well. Just by looking at their clothes, I can assume that they are into fashion. Now, being into something, maybe you've never heard that. This actually just means that you really like it, or you are obsessed with it, or you kind of really enjoy it. So we say into something. For example, I've told you guys before that when I was in high school and college, I played basketball. So I was very into basketball. I'm still into basketball, but I'm a little bit too busy to play these days. But again, being into something means that you enjoy it and you do it a lot, okay? So again, they are very into fashion. So here's the next example. Just by looking at their body language, I can assume that they are happy to see each other. Again, look at the lady and look at the man. The lady looks happy to see him. They're about to shake hands and they look happy, right? Okay, finally we have this one right here. Just by looking at his tie, which seems to be blowing in the wind, I can assume that he is probably late for work. Okay, so again, you see that this is a very useful pattern. Okay, so again, just by looking at ... I can assume that. So I want you to try to use that pattern as well. Okay, so let's go back. Here we go. All right, going back to our text. The next sentence is, she probably just finished eating lunch and is now going back to work before her meeting. So we see here literally 4 pieces of information. Well, we see right here, after lunch, before her meeting, and also going back to work and has a meeting. So we answered 2 of the when, after lunch, before her meeting, and for the why, going back to work and has a meeting, all in one sentence. And you're seeing how long our response is getting. We're learning how to be fluent, okay? All right, let's go down to our next sentence. Here we go. Her friend said that it would be an important meeting. Now we're mentioning her friend, right? She heard something from her friend because we gave that as a why or as a reason. So now we're including it in our response, okay? Let's move on to the next sentence. Here we go. So she is thinking deeply about the meeting and also looking around to see if she sees any of her coworkers. So we've answered 2 things from the what? Looking around and thinking deeply, all right? Now, I do want to pause again because we see some yellow. We see another expression, okay? So here we go. Looking around to see if. Now, this is a pattern that is used to describe the action of looking from place to place to find something or someone specific. So again, if I was to show you visually, it's like this. I'm looking around, right? So looking around to see if ... Now let's see some example sentences. They are looking around to see if anyone saw them steal the purse. Uh-oh, they're thieves. All right, next one, here we go. Here's the next one. She was looking around to see if any of her friends were in her class. And finally, she is looking around to see if her sons are playing outside. So you can see how easy it is to use this pattern. Looking around to see if ... And I want you to try to use it today when you speak in English, okay? So again, let's go back to my screen now. So we used this simple formula, this simple equation about English fluency. Step 1, identify. Step 2, organize. And step 3, talk. Now, I want you to practice just like we did in today's lesson. All you have to do is find an image, identify, then organize your thoughts using the 5 W's, and finally talk. It's that simple. I really hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Remember, if you want to download the free PDF, all you have to do is click the link in the description and you can download and practice what we learned today. And also, if you want to keep studying with me, I know a lot of you guys are already in the academy, but if you really want to improve your English and take your English to the next level, you need to join my academy. You'll see it right here on the screen, and the link is in the description. I would love to be your permanent English teacher, and I want to teach you and show you how much fun you can have learning English. Well, until next week, don't forget, remember to speak English. You still there? It's story time. All right, so I told you that last week, Thursday, was Thanksgiving Day here in America. And if you are a part of my community, you saw the image of the food, I have it right here on my screen right now, that my mom made for us. When I say the food was amazing, woo-wee! It was amazing. Now, I want to tell you just a little bit about Thanksgiving. So, in America, the last Thursday of November is Thanksgiving Day. And I love Thanksgiving as a holiday because you are able to come together with your family and friends and just give thanks for what happened throughout the year and also enjoy great food. That's what I want to tell you about. So, here's the layout, okay? So, we had, of course, cornbread. Now, cornbread is basically sweet bread. It's really delicious, and my mom is an excellent cook. Now, my mom was preparing the food for about a week. That's how long it took because she had to cut up everything for the food. Now, let me tell you what we had. We had cornbread, We had potato salad. Then we had macaroni and cheese. Now, you guys know that I'm a vegetarian, but I'm actually a vegan. And as a vegan, I don't eat any dairy products. No cheese, no milk, nothing like that. So my mom also made a vegan macaroni and cheese. That's a macaroni and cheese that has no cheese in it. It has cheese substitutes. So you can make a sauce that doesn't come from cheese. She used cashews. Actually, very interesting. Now, if you're a member of my academy, tomorrow I'm posting a video with more details about our Thanksgiving with pictures and videos. So if you're in my academy, you'll see that video tomorrow, okay? So again, we had regular mac and cheese, vegan mac and cheese, because my family also came. My uncles and aunts came. Then we had greens. Oh my goodness, the food was so good. Then we had string beans. Then we had candied yams or sweet potatoes. So let me explain how sweet potatoes are made. So what happens, you take a sweet potato and you slice it. And then you put cinnamon, brown sugar, butter, and again, she used vegan butter because I'm vegan. And you drizzle it over top of oh my goodness, guys. Just thinking about it makes me excited. Okay, so you drizzle it over the sweet potatoes, then you put them in the oven, and when they come out, they're soft, they're sweet, they're delicious. So we had sweet potatoes. Then we had, because my uncles and aunts came, we also had turkey, chicken, and then my mom made a vegetarian chicken, again for us because we're vegetarian. We also had cabbage. So again, my mom is an amazing cook, guys. So we had all of this food. So it took her a week to prepare all of this food. And when I say it was good, man, oh man, it was good. So I really hope you're able to experience the American style of Thanksgiving one day. If you're ever in America during Thanksgiving, try to find someone you can go to their house, someone's house you can go to and enjoy the meal. I had a great time. I enjoyed the food. My mom is amazing. Everyone raved or said how amazing her food was, and they weren't lying. I hope you enjoyed this story, guys. I will talk to you next week.